What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Peacock's new anthology miniseries, John Carpenter's Suburban Screams. Let's rock this. Yes, it's Halloween, baby, my favorite time of the year. So it's only fitting that a show like this exists, Suburban Screams, that is brought to you by one of all-time greatest horror filmmakers, the man who gave us Halloween franchise, the one and only John Carpenter. Now, I've already watched all 6 episodes thanks to Peacock streaming service, and let's just say that I have some notes about it. Keep in mind that the format here is a mix of documentary and reenactments, and while overall the show is spooky and chilling, but I'm not a fan of all the episodes. I like some of them more than others, and some of them I just don't like at all. And that kind of sentiment is bound to happen when you're dealing with an anthology, which is a compilation of different stories handled by various directors. That said, it doesn't take away from the fact that if you want to celebrate this year's Halloween by watching something that can end up keeping you up at night, you can't go wrong with John Carpenter's Suburban Screams. Directed by John Carpenter, Jordan Roberts, Michelle Latimer, and Jan Pawlacki, John Carpenter's Suburban Screams is a genre-busting, unscripted horror anthology series from the mind of legendary director, writer, and producer John Carpenter. The series explores the dark secrets and unspeakable evil that sometimes lurks beneath the surface of the sun-drenched streets, manicured lawns, and friendly neighbors of suburbia. Each episode focuses on one true tale of terror, told by the real people who lived through it. Their first-hand accounts are brought to life through premium cinematic scene work, new clips, home photos, and archival footage, combining the visual language of horror films with the tools and techniques of documentaries, creating a uniquely frightening experience for viewers. Now, I'm not sure which episodes were directed by John Carpenter. I may have to check out the end credits roll again, but I'll say this. It really is good to have Carpenter back behind the camera again. That man comes up to the surface only once in a blue moon, so to hear him doing anything at all, is always an excitement for us horror fans. Now, there are 6 episodes total. Each runs about 45 to 50 minutes long, so it can get pretty lengthy. And basically, each episode tells tales of terror that took place in seemingly perfect American hometowns, and a couple of episodes are based in Canada. And they claim that they're all based on a true story. So, of course, it goes without saying that if you liked The Twilight Zone, or The Outer Limits, or Tales from the Crypt, or Into the Dark, odds are you are gonna like Suburban Screams. The show's missed opportunity, in my opinion, is that for whatever reason, they don't have John Carpenter showing up at the beginning and at the end of every episode, kind of like what Rod Serling did, intro and outro appearance. Maybe John didn't want to do that. Maybe that's not his style. Who knows? But that would have made this extra awesome, because that's how it's usually done on most other horror anthologies anyway. So here's how to describe the stories without giving too much away. Basically, some episodes would take actual events that happen in real life, and the writers built some kind of supernatural storytelling elements around it in order to fill in the gaps, to add more suspense and more scares. Because it's a lot more interesting if a ghost guides you into locating her dead body, as opposed to just you happen to stumble upon her dead body by accident. Not all of them are that way, of course, but many of them went through that process, or that thinking process. The episode that encapsulates John Carpenter's legacy the most is the episode about Canadian serial killer Alan Legier. Alan is kind of like Michael Myers personified. The kind of slasher that if you cross paths with him, you're just having the worst luck ever. My least favorite episode is the phone stalker one. Maybe it's just me, but I'd file that more under psychological thriller. It may trigger victims of abuse and toxic relationship, so I'm not gonna minimize that, but the episode doesn't really give me the goosebumps. I think the writers should have adjusted the runtime accordingly to the material. By that I mean, not all of them have to be 50 minutes long across the board. Some of them should have run shorter than others, because there are times where it feels a bit repetitive and redundant. As far as the direction on the reenactments, most of them are nicely done, and the actors are very committed to their roles. The episode about Cursed Neighborhood has a lot of effective, well-placed jump scares that will be indelibly seared into your memories. The connecting core of all these episodes is that they're mostly set in suburbia, which is why the Bunny Man episode is a bit off to me, in that it's an urban legend that could strike at any victim in any setting. But the writer's excuse in including the Bunny Man is that the entity has a grudge against housing progress. Sure, Jan, whatever you say. Listen, this is not an all-around terrible anthology show. All I'm saying is that Suburban Screams would probably work best on the easily scared. The pacing is a bit touch and go, but the theme music, composed by Carpenter himself, is fantastic. I recommend that you do not binge watch Suburban Screams in one sitting. Perhaps you should watch one episode every day leading up to Halloween and find out for yourself which one of them is unsettling enough to make you sleep with the lights on at night. So yeah, overall I give John Carpenter's Suburban Screams the rating of 3.5 out of 5. John Carpenter is back, baby! What more could you ask for? Suburban Screams may not be perfect, but it's a somewhat perfect way to celebrate the upcoming Halloween. So that's it. That's my review of John Carpenter's Suburban Screams. Smash that like button, turn on that notification bell, share your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, subscribe. Let's rock this.